Hey, guys, welcome to the Creepside. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe, thanks. The strangeness level 94 possesses is the inadequacy to perfectly describe its appearance. It manifests into multiple appearances, with each wanderer having their own respective manifestations/interpretations. Therefore, it is assumed one is prohibited from entering another person's manifestation, as no reports of sightings of visuals of other manifestations had been seen to transpire within. Nevertheless, it is known the main constant of the level itself is its resemblance to a museum, in addition to a temple-like appearance. Furthermore, all rooms within level 94 are interconnected circular rooms conjoined by arches warping on the perimeter of each room. It has been concluded countless times each room is mirrored, multiple characteristics such as its pattern, position, and even the smallest of decorations and dust are examined thoroughly. The circumstances by which this transpires is presumably the level's inability to construct more unique rooms, more commonly dubbed as a mesh, resulting in a computer-like effect noticeable if one carefully see the multitude of details. Any endeavors to damage the structure before its initial generation would not alter other duplicating rooms. It does not help either by which the material the rooms are constructed of is not particularly known. It shares correspondence with that of marble, undistinguished appearance, a nearly identical cellular structure, and durability/toughness. The texture of the aforementioned material is discreetly soft, however, its styrofoam-like characteristic does not deter its resilience otherwise. Level 94 remains stationed inside the inner regions of a vast black hole, expanding into the horizon visible if one is located on the terrace in which borders the structure itself from the black hole. A shield of an undetermined force may exist between the border, resulting in the level's longevity regardless of its location. It is confirmed the shield is easily penetrable. One might accidentally place their arms crossing the border or the enclosure, preventing one from falling into the abyss. If one is clumsy enough, the limb in question would undergo an instantaneous process designated as spaghettification, in which the body part would stretch and sucked into the epicenter of the black hole. October 2, 2033 came to be the date of the discovery of the first known primary piece of evidence for the existence of the Empyrean race, which emerged as level 94. In an M.E.G expedition deep into the level, the task force encountered the replica of the Temple of the Exalted Ecclesiast, dubbed the Temple or the Main Hall, which had formed within the level itself. At the time, entering the structure was impossible due to the inability of the task force to decipher the incomprehensible script which explained how to enter the unbreachable building. A presumption developed pertaining to the circular rooms acquiring most of the level's volume. It is thought a four-dimensional effect by some means created an illusion of a perpetual space created by these rooms. A grandiose church hall-like structure is what the interior of the main hall comprised of, with most segments of its walls and even the surface enveloped by thin, white sheets that appears to be crafted from silk. Its imperial architecture induces the sense its purpose is mainly as a place of worship. However, it has been compared to a location of sacredness whereupon the data expunged arranges an assembly in a specific setting appropriate for such. Most ornaments, furniture, in addition to countless amalgamations of other objects scattered throughout, are assumed to range from ordinary objects for decorating and polishing the looks of the structure to be purposed as religious items. Certain objects do not possess a noticeable feature or what their purpose is. It is theorized most are possibly pieces for sacrifices. Nonetheless, no signs of any machines resembling a place for laying objects for sacrifices had been discovered within. Gardens fashioned with a variety of carefully sculptured statues and fountains are present in the exterior of the main hall. A majority of the entrances leading to the underground of level 94 is scattered throughout on this area by the formation consisting of mostly potholes, haphazardly positioned walls residing in seemingly out-of-place areas, and certain walls of the main hall, the majority in which possesses windows, including the caves surrounding the outdoors itself. Below the subterranean regions of level 94 lies a plethora of mazes upon mazes. It is conspicuous in that the walls of the mazes in question are orderly and lined with stones which bear durability that may perhaps be compared to that of a diamond. The abundance of archives and catalogs of ancient and historical records carved into these indestructible stones were hypothesized to be written by an obsolete/prehistoric race, possibly belonging back to the primitive years of the front rooms and approximate 13 billion years ago. 11 years following the discovery, M.E.G's cryptography division executed a complete translation of the language the script is written on, currently known as the Common Script, conjectured to be the sole language adopted by most advanced civilizations in the universe as their predominant dialect. It should be noted the instructions transcribed in the Common Script detailed the method to enter the temple, an advanced Magitech ritual involving various elements that were scarce at the time despite its discovery being an accidental, and perhaps a chucklesome misstep in the form of knot clipping. Subsequent to the successful but a painstaking journey on acquiring these materials, a more well-equipped task force was able to breach the edifice. Inside, they discovered the imitations of the Grand Empyrean artifacts, one of which had been taken by, data expunged. Furthermore, a vast repository of information concerning the Empyrean race was uncovered, allowing the human species to learn of the existence of the children. Great societal turmoil followed for several hundred years, eventually resulting in the M.E.G and other major groups at the time merging to become the modern B.F.L, unified at last. Empyreans also form a single fabricated artifact, embodying their nature and often utilized as a focusing device for channeling their extreme powers. These artifacts themselves possess magic-like abilities, keeping these even after their creators have perished. New wielders need to be acknowledged by the artifact before fully activating it, changing the size to that which can be used efficiently by the new user. These objects are highly sought after, and being in possession of one without the necessary strength to keep it will likely result in one's untimely death. Generally though, the user will receive a substantial boost in power from the artifact, especially if it takes the form of weaponry, giving an edge to the container. The location of these artifacts is unknown, however, their exact duplicates, which does not possess the powers the original variants have, are set within the subterranean areas of the main hall in level 94. It should be noted the chambers the duplicates of these artifacts are scattered within the chambers, resulting in a difficulty of venturing deep to just enter one of these chambers. Stealing in contact with these artifacts is highly discouraged from doing, as the uncertainty of what will transpire is still undetermined. Lord of Apparatus details about the Lord of Apparatus artifact are unknown, with sources giving conflicting claims. Some theories suggest that the artifact fell into the hands of the Resseran race, but these rumors are unconfirmed. It can be assumed that this artifact gave the wielder some sort of power relating to machines and technology. Ruler of Seas. This Empyrean's artifact was known as the Trident of Monolith, an enormous 10-meter-tall trident which was noted to appear to be constituted of a form of granite, among other types of metamorphic and igneous stone. The inferior copy of this object, retrieved from the replicated imitation of the Temple of the Exalted Ecclesiast on December 23, 2731, also displayed a very similar exterior appearance, and testing revealed it to indeed be made up of various types of rock, generally ones deep within rock strata. However, despite the outward structure, during testing the material composing the object displayed various anomalous properties, including extreme resistance to physical trauma, pressure, and heat. A 90 exawatt, 90 times 10 to the power of 18 watts, yield high-frequency gamma-ray laser was used in order to attempt to extract samples from the relic. The energy of the laser beam was entirely absorbed by said object with no observed change in the level of electromagnetic radiation, exterior appearance, or the stability of reality in the vicinity. Constant absorption of all liquids in contact with the surface of the artifact at a rate of approximately 900 liters per second. This is accompanied by an emittance of electromagnetic radiation from the surface of the object with a wavelength of 450 nanometers, observed by the human eye as a sheen of blue light at an intensity of 230 lumens. Inability to be moved, shifted, or otherwise transported within three-dimensional space, other than through direct manipulation of gravitational forces. The reason for this selectivity is unknown, and the artifact in Legends was said to be able to manipulate gravitational fields at will. Up to now, the Anomalous Assets Division has been unable to either activate and/or harness the secondary abilities of the duplicated artifact. Similarly, the presumed conditions for artifact activation are also unknown. All of these anomalous capabilities can be assumed to be even greater in magnitude for the true artifact, whose location is currently inaccessible, the spatial coordinates of the Temple of the Exalted Ecclesiast have been triangulated to an area of space currently occupied by the TON 618 hypermassive black hole. The properties of the artifact's copy lead many to theorize that the Grand Empyrean, the mistress of space and time, had a hand in the modification of the object. This is made more plausible due to the existence of a variety of ancient sources citing an amiable relationship between the two Grand Empyreans. The ultimate fate of the ruler of seas is unknown, but it can be safely assumed that the Empyrean died at the end of the Dawn Wars, along with the vast majority of the Empyrean race. Aoshu, Azura of the East, the Empyrean's artifact, the epilogue, Tao of Shifting Flame, further enhanced his effects. Assuming the shape of a glowing slate of an unknown material, this artifact is said to transform into 4 different modes. Sword of Hellfire, this mode takes the form of a one-edged blade, made of the same sort of material as the original artifact, but without the luminescence. The blade itself is extraordinarily sharp, capable of cleaving hyperdimensional space in two, and generates crimson fire when it is swung. Solar Morningstar, this mode appears to be a mace-like weapon formed of molten metal. When striking anything, such as space, it shatters the target into an uncountable number of pieces. Lance of Eternal Burning, this mode seems to be a spear-like weapon that is invisible when not activated, completely transparent to all known types of radiation. When thrown or thrusted towards the target is immediately attacked by pale, white flames which do not cease burning until all constituent particles are annihilated. Bow of White Flames, assumed to be the epilogue's most powerful form, the artifact becomes a bow of higher dimensional spacetime, manifesting arrows of the same material, shot at massively superluminal speeds. Angel of Life, her artifact is the Holy Scepter of Vitality, a magic staff-like object which allows her to better channel her powers to facilitate the spread of life. A Luster of Moonlight coats the object, which only allows itself to be held by one with a pure heart. Conjurer of Fears, the Conjurer of Fears artifact is the Orb of Trepidation, a sphere-like crystal of strong mimetic power which manifests and generates the victim's worst fear into reality, given that the user knows said fear. In the Conjurer's hands, this is an extremely powerful weapon against any entity, except entities which possess no fears. However, these types of emotion-devoid entities are far and few between. The Conjurer claimed over several dozen souls of Empyreans throughout his life. Emperor of Dominion, his artifact, the Staff of Domination, assumes the form of a thick steel rod, able to influence and sway beings in an unspecified radius to the holder's will. The copy of the item inside of the duplicated Temple of the Exalted Ecclesiast was obtained by Proto-B.F.L forces on July 3, 2184. Since then it has been stored securely within the B.F.L main vault in Level 1. Additional details are hard to discern due to an repulsive force generated by the artifact, pushing away all but the owner. Mistress of time and space, of those, only fragmentary records exist about this Grand Empyrean, of which B.F.L currently has, but it is known that she was quite amiable to mortals and was in possession of a spatial-type artifact containing an alternate universe of higher dimensional space, allowing her to tap into the powers of said area. The artifact is known as the Broken Realm, for reasons that will be further elaborated upon. Resembling a cube of glowing metamaterials alongside several rings orbiting this shape, this object periodically shifts into pieces and back again, for reasons unknown. Semblance of Agony, his artifact, the Jawbreaker, is an unknown item presumably formed of a higher dimensional fractal pattern, with powers relating to the concept of pain. The reason why the Monger of Pain's artifact is so mysterious is because it was the only artifact copied missing from the facsimile of the Temple of the Exalted Ecclesiast in Level 94. Whether this is because the original artifact is missing, or because something or someone stole it after the counterfeit's generation, the B.F.L has soundly no clue. Harbinger of War, the artifact of this Grand Empyrean is the Bloodied Arsenal, a metallic device of sorts which could form unbreakable armor, powerful weapons, and even entire armies of warriors through magical means. The copy of this artifact still resides within Level 94, but the B.F.L has currently been unable to awaken it, even partially. The Harbinger most likely was killed in action at the end of the battle at the Crystal Palace, as he never since appeared ever again. Paragon of Oblivion, the Exalted One's artifact is an object that changes appearance based on the observer. To a human, it seems as if it is in miniature sandbox of sorts. The B.F.L has gone to great lengths in order to try to obtain the duplicate of this artifact, but all have been completely unsuccessful. What conditions are required to even begin activating it, or even the powers of this item, are similarly unknown.